If you're caring for 4 babies, you're probably working at an HCA hospital and you should quit. I was a NICU nurse for nearly a decade, and I want to walk you through a day in the life. Of course, I'm filming this from my apartment, not in the hospital, but I'm going to do my best to narrate what a typical shift would look like. So it's about 6 in the morning, and your alarm goes off. You're startled, assuming you work the day shift, of course. You get out of bed, you get ready for your shift. I usually try to eat some protein and have a coffee because once you get to work, you really don't know what to expect, especially if you've been off for several days in a row and you're not quite sure what your patient population is at the time. If you are like me, you're always rushing to get out of your apartment. You get to work, you run into the hospital, you clock in right at 6:58, and you head to your unit to see what your assignment is going to be for the day. If you're caring for 4 babies, you're probably working at an HCA hospital and you should quit. If you're caring for 3 babies, you know it will be pretty laid back, mostly working on feeding, and maybe you have a discharge. If you're caring for 2 babies, you can expect that one baby might be relatively sick, or maybe both babies are on CPAP, which is continuous positive airway pressure. And if you're only taking care of one baby, you know that you are probably in for a rough day on your feet. In the NICU, basically, the sicker the patient, the less patients that you care for. So when you first see your assignment, that can say a lot about how your day is going to go. So you head to the rooms that you are assigned to and you get report from the night shift nurse. You'll go through the patient's chart, any relevant medical history, and what is expected of you for your shift. You will lay eyes on each patient and do your safety checks before saying goodbye to the night nurse. In the NICU, your day is pretty structured. For premature babies, it's important to let them rest and let their brain develop. And how to do that is by letting them sleep a lot and essentially not bothering them. So each patient usually has what we call like care times or touch times. Every hospital has different policies for this, but usually care times are every 3 to 4 hours. So your patient might be on a 8-11-2-5 schedule, a 9-12-3-6 schedule, or if you are doing touch times every 4 hours, you might have a patient on a 8-12-4 or a 9-1-5. So during your care times is when you assess your patient, you check vitals, you change their diaper, reposition them, feed them. This is a good time to get them out of bed for their parents or loved ones to hold them. Also, based on your patient's gestational age, you might treat them differently. So if you're caring for a 32-weeker, you're probably going to try your best to bundle all of your care and all of your procedures only during your touch times and letting the baby sleep otherwise. But if you're taking care of an older baby, maybe 45 weeks at this point, they probably want to be up and play and be held a little bit more. So keep that in mind as you care for your patients and also plan your day with the parents. So because your day is pretty structured around care times and feeds, you will discuss with the other nurses nearby what time everybody is planning to break for lunch. Hopefully you work at a hospital where you can also take a 15-minute breakfast break. I think that is like best practice just to get something to eat and just to get off the unit and like calm down your nervous system because the alarms can really start to get to you after a while. One big thing that happens during the day shift is that the doctors come round. So if you are working at a children's hospital, multiple specialties usually come around. But if you are working at a smaller hospital, usually the doctors come around in teams. And then the team can be made up of like the MD, dietitian, physical therapist, NMP, really just anyone who has a hand in the baby's care for that day. One of my biggest pet peeves is when you are busy doing something and the doctors come round and they do not think to include the bedside nurse. Oh my gosh, it irks me so much. And quite frankly, I think it's beyond rude, especially since you are responsible to keep the family updated. I don't think it's a good look to not know what the team said for the day or to be left in the dark about any major changes. If you're working the day shift, most hospitals change fluids during the day. So that's one of the bigger tasks that comes up around 4 or 5 p.m. And then by like 6, I like to sit down and get things together for the night shift. You'll want to restock all of your rooms and go through the patient's chart again and see what's been ordered for the night shift. I also like to go through my meds just to make sure I didn't miss anything throughout the day. And even though I was a NICU nurse for 10 years, like you can still miss things. So always be double checking. and don't ever think that you're above making a mistake. Then the night shift will come around at 1900. You will give a report, clock out, and that is your day. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe because I share so much information about nursing, travel nursing, volunteer nursing, you name it. I talk about it. I talk a lot about travel. So make sure to give me a follow and subscribe and a comment and a like and a share and whatever you can do on YouTube these days. Okay, bye.